I don't know about you or where you are in the world, but I got a lot of sun today. Taking a walk in the park, lovely August day. So I am a combination of happy, content, and exhausted, but still trying to play some Magic here. So gotta focus up, make good decisions. This hand has the colors, and this hand has a planeswalker, a censor, and telling time. I can get behind it. Good hand, good hand. Omega asks, you like this build better compared to the one with Disciple and Gearhulk? I do, because of the mana base. I think it's asking too much to play 3 colors and hope that your second and third land drops are untapped so you can answer the board so you can get to the point where Disciple and Gearhulk take over. I love the Disciple Gearhulk approach in 2 color decks. So like my blue-white deck and my blue-red deck are going to take that approach. The play is you. It also, not having to worry about hitting that second and third land drop untapped as often to still be competitive lets me play a Forsaken Sanctuary to get my mana more consistent. There's plenty of double white and double black going on. Alright, important turn. We can hit our untapped land and hold up Telling Time and Censor, and if we find any other base, our lands enter untapped. That's worth it. So I'll play the island here. And the cast out's a welcome draw, as we didn't have a removal spell at that point. Our opponent's showing Bant colors. Very interested to see what they play. And they're going to start with a Gustwalker that we cannot censor. So it will be a telling of the time. Can we hit the basic land? We can, but to do it, we have to give up Sorin and Jace, and I'm not really willing to do that. So I think I can do without having perfect mana to have these powerful cards available. I definitely want to play Jace on this coming turn. And then we can move into Liliana the following turn. And Jace still might help us draw that land that we want. And I'll get my double black set up for Lily. And now the clock's ticking on the opponent to make a lot of progress on the board. They don't want to see me slam Sorin without competition. At the same time, they can't just let me have my, let Jace get out of hand. So, they're already in the squeeze. And they choose to go with Liliana Huntmaster to pair up with the Duskwalker. Well, now I know I'm searching for a sweeper. And will we see Exert? We all know the AI would exert. What will our opponent do? Exert it is. Planar outburst could come in very handy. I wanted to see a sweeper. That is indeed one. I'm going to start with a loot. Hit a grasp. That's very good. So I'm going to discard probably the cast out for fear of a Reclamation Sage. No, let's hang on to that. There might be a Planeswalker coming. So I'm going to discard the Censor and move into more of the tap out range. Which means I can play Liliana and I can tick down on the Huntmaster. There could be a pump spell to kill Lily. Seems unlikely. Diverts attention from my life total. And we'll see if we can keep her around long enough for Planar Outburst to come online. But the one thing I love about playing her here is it encourages my opponent to play more creatures and threats to try to get her dead. Opponent going Nimbus Wings. Nimbus Wings for the Huntmaster. Nimbus Wings number 2 out of Daddy Reed. So read, we'll say. Read contemplating Nimbus Wings number 2. Getting a little gun shy. And choosing Gust Walker number 2 instead. That's going to put pressure on us to draw the untapped land. We'll get 2 cracks at it, thanks to Jace. But I would love to wrath this board. Even if we wrath our own Jace, we can get it back very soon with Liliana. And that is cast out. So let's take a stab at the top of our deck for an untapped land. And we hit it. So now I think I can do without the grasp at this point. Or it's either the grasp or the cast out. I guess we could double spell if we keep one of each. So I will get rid of the cast out here. It's too bad that Jace has to die and go down with the ship. But like I said, Liliana can get him back very soon. Uniku says that the player shouldn't have exerted the Gust Walker on turn 3. There's definitely an argument for that you are likely right. You're very likely right. Our opponent needs to play Nimbus Wings here as well, or else Liliana will kill that green wheel. But our opponent did not play the Nimbus Wings that we know they have, and now the Liberator is a snack. So definitely have a less experienced foe. It'll be interesting to decide when to give them gold, when the game is for sure a lock, as it's a control deck, so those kind of things aren't as clear as they are sometimes. There's a Nimbus Wings. I'll just hang on. I'm going to hang on to the cast out. You always want to be prepared for Gideon out of any white deck, no matter what experience level you think you're looking at. And let's see, I could just play Sorin here. No, I'll just get Jace back. While my opponent's hand is empty, I know that they don't have removal for Jace, and Jace only needs 1 turn to flip, and we'll plan to use Blessed Alliance when our opponent comes barreling in. There was some consideration of saving Blessed Alliance. My opponent is a green deck, could have Gaia's Revenge. However, I just don't sense that type of position. It would probably be the safest thing possible to hold the Blessed Alliance and play the Grasp of Darkness. Would have been probably the safest way to handle it. And there's an Evolving Wilds. Let's loot first. Probably going to discard that Evolving Wilds. Yep. And flip our Jace. Now we can negate that critter. And our opponent's left the game. I will accept that concession, as there still may be many turns to try to navigate well. None of them are going to get our opponent back in the game. And Esper Super Friends on the march. Nighthawk has checked into chat. How you doing tonight? Would point out that there could have been a blossoming defense for the Grasp. Yeah, it is. It is. It's interesting with this card pool. Do you play around everything? What do you play around? How do you choose? Do you play around a rare card or an uncommon? What if one loses you the game and the other merely makes the game harder for you? Life's full of tough choices, isn't it? So Hazarat has a spear, there's some lightning going on. This is a pretty good background put together by our next foe. And who are we battling? This is Dark Brewer, and we are on the play. I will keep it. It's not the greatest, but I will keep it. Our turn, let's see, our plays that we can make on turn 3 that are double colored are Never, which we have right here, Liliana the Last Hope, and Gideon of the Trials. So where possible, I want to open on black mana and white mana. Hey. Or both is fine too. Nighthawk says there's only one card to play around, and that is Fog. And he is right. And our opponent, lining up that copter, it looks like we might be up against Mardu vehicles. So our draw will have to improve. We'll have to stop drawing these lands to compete with a good Mardu draw here. If our opponent fires up that copter, I will try to Telling Time into a Fatal Push. And what's it gonna be? A Toolcraft Exemplar. Yeah, that's a good one. And a Gear Shift Ace, so here they come. Things are getting real. So I'd like to find a sweeper and plan to use my cast out on the copter or a Fatal Push for the copter right now. Would be ideal. There's a censor, and there is my sweeper. And I have the lands I need. I wish I had left up a blue for the censor, but I didn't have 2 blue available, so no regrets. We're going to get punched by the copter this turn. We can shoot it down next turn. We'll probably take a big old hit from his creatures. Hopefully he plays even more of them and doesn't have another vehicle. And then we can wipe the board. And from there, it's just trying to find instant speed removal answers to more of our opponent's vehicular threats. As them copters, baby. Them freaking copters. They annoying. Alright, let's see what happens. We do have a censor too. If our opponent goes Gideon, we got something for it. It's going to be a Depala, that's fine. I mean, that's going to hurt. Don't get me wrong. We're going to take 7 even after tagging the copter. Holy cow, that's a lot of damage. Good old dwarves, baby. Getting paused. Give me that copter. Nighthawk points out this is one of those games where I'd be screwed on the draw. Yeah, I don't think you're lying. Although if I were on the draw, would I have had my censor on time? It was on top of my deck when I cast Telling Time. I guess I did that on turn 3. I don't know. If we totally recreated this, it'd be interesting. This, by the way, might turn out to be a very good draw. Ba-boom. Away with your creatures. Our opponent is stuck on the 3. So that we know that there's more spells in hand. Please don't be. I mean, I guess if it's Gideon, I'm not dead, but it would be annoying. Still, I'll take this position. I'll take this position. Pretty much what you want to do against vehicles. You want to kill their vehicle, and then you want to wipe up the field of the creatures that were intended to crew it. This is tough. Right? This is pretty tough. So I think what I want to do here is fire up Vent, gain some life, and leave up the censor. Hopefully that will tag what our opponent tries to play. This is a pretty high crew, 4, so it's unlikely our opponent can just outplay it without tapping, can crew it without tapping out, is what I'm trying to say. They would need another double spell turn of like Toolcraft and Motorist. Or double Inventor's Apprentice would do it. Let's see if they can play double Inventor's Apprentice. Siege modification. Yeah, so do we take this hit and cast Never is what I'm wondering. I don't think so. I'll just have to say no. I don't think we want to take that hit here when we have a censor we could play. We might have to next turn if our opponent has another one of those. I wouldn't put it past him. But since we're likely to take a punch, I do not want to run out the last hope. I really do need to trade her for a creature. Can't it crew itself, asks Nighthawk about the Colossus. No, it does say another target vehicle you control becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. And we have a Solemn Recruit. I am perfectly happy about that. And there is Cast Out. So, play Liliana, tick up on the Recruit, hold up Cast Out. Sounds very good. And we'll see what our opponent can find. Dark what? Brewer. So Brewer. We'll see what Brewer can find. Brewer can find a Fleet Wheel Cruiser. Well, ain't that something? I'm trying to pause, but not getting the option. Interesting. So my opponent is offering the Recruit, which our Vent could get in front of. If we don't, the Recruit gets bigger. But we lose Liliana. I think I will keep Liliana and take out the cruiser, because that thing will not stop being annoying at any point in its existence. Not to mention, if the cruiser stays, our opponent can make it crew itself with the Colossus, the Peacekeeper. Yeah, they are playing around... It's interesting that they played around Blessed Alliance, despite the fact that the Shambling Vent could have just ate the Solemn Recruit. It's very aggro. So we'll shrink that again, and we'll plan to block it with Vent. Also play this, show our Revolt abilities. We have drawn plenty of lands. Would like to stop now. Okay, that's annoying. And that's the right card for the moment, isn't it? That can make the Colossus come at me, bro. And then if... Well, no, he would not trigger Revolt for him. But we need some draws. We've had some decents, but we need some draws. This deck does run Fatal Push. We has not drawn the Fatal Push. It's been part of our problem in this game. I do believe the right play is to protect Liliana if possible. A Harness Lightning, of course, is going to prevent that. But we do get to go block. We are in a kind of a flood versus screwed position. Our opponent missed a few land drops, but now their deck is getting to play all its cards, whereas we're kind of sitting around. There we go. Not quite on time, though. Needed that Revolt, but it's okay. I think what I'll do this turn is use the Never and make the zombie. And exiling from graveyard, the odds of this mattering at all are very low, but I will take the siege modification because it's the only enchantment in the graveyard, and our opponent could have an Auramancer. I don't, like I said, the odds of it mattering are very low, but you do what you can. Can we get Liliana to ultimate? Nope, not if Hungry Flames has anything to say about it. We could fatally push our zombie in response, but it would not stop the 2 damage to Liliana, since Hungry Flames picks 2 targets. Okay, here we go. Can our opponent put out 4 points of power? They have another Fleet Wheel Cruiser. That is fine. I'll just let that attack and kill it. Yay for drawing removal spells. Alright. We're in a bit of a face-off. I'm wondering if I should hold back the land. You think of things that could punish me for that. Yeah, play him out. Not to mention, see, my opponent's not in a position where they can afford to play around anything anyway, so they're going to do their best to come at me no matter what. Liliana's teetering. That doesn't crew, not on its own. Still needs 1 more to crew the Colossus, and now Liliana's going to get out of the range of what Colossus can do. And there's a... Oh, Gloria. Yes, thank you. I needed that. Now let's see if it can work. We need just that 1 more removal to line up. All right, so Depala will be big enough, so we do have to kill this now, or else he'll be able to crew that Colossus. And we have a concession. I'm going to play this out, because this could still get hairy even when we start making zombies. This would tilt me as your opponent so hard, yeah. I get that, Nighthawk. I get that the opponent is probably tilted from the just line of removal spells I'm drawing, but that's what the deck is. It's a ton of removal spells and some planeswalkers. So I'd either be flooding out, which I already drew plenty of land, or I'd be drawing the removal spells. And Chandra's here. Man, 1 turn late on the top deck. Holy cow. And out comes another Wheelsmith. There is Jace. Down with Shand. Wheelsmith jumping in front. Just suiciding to defend the queen. Bring in the zombie horde. I'll take 2 from a Chandra activation from Brewer's AI tag team partner. Winter Void, hello. Nice. It's been nice seeing you still put out some duels content. It's got a good Twitch channel here, Winter Void, for anybody who's interested. And Winter Void in chat says, Esper is the deck I prefer for control this season. So many great tools. It does have a number of them. And my opponent does draw the Motorist and the Exemplar, so could crew that Colossus. So if that happens, what do I want to do? I guess I could get Revolt, and then I could fatally push it. And so when Jace flips, I get Revolt. The question is, do I then hit the flashback? Ooh. I guess first we'll do this and see if the Colossus gets activated. No, we'd just rather... No, let's see. Thinky think. We can never one of the creatures. Colossus gets activated. Both creatures tap. I flash back. Fatal push. Colossus is finally dead. Then Chandra dies to the Horde. Alright. Seems good. There's the activation. I think any human player would make that play as well. Makes it less embarrassing that it's the AI. We have the revolt because Jace flipped. That counts as a revolt trigger because Jace left the battlefield and came back. So this should kill. And it does. Now we'll exile it for spite. For all the hate. All the hate points. Opponent's empty-handed. So no reason to split our attackers any other way. Except carelessness, of course. Classic carelessness. And the Horde continues to come forth. Draw and no play from the AI. Tag team partner of Brewer. And swing for the lethals. Vryns. Second win for the Esper Walker. Thanks for the well wishes, Winter. Says it's good to see me streaming. I'm enjoying it. I'm making the most of it. I'm looking forward to tomorrow to see if there's any real digital next talk as opposed to corporate shenanigans. We'll see. It's only one way to find out for sure. That is to be there and to read the reports, of course. Just gotta find out. For those of you who haven't heard me talk about it or aren't in the know, tomorrow is Hasbro's Investor Day, Shareholder Day, and they promised more information on Magic Digital Next. So I'm curious to see what that information might be. Whether it's some Duels of the Planeswalker screenshots or actual what systems it's coming out for, release day, things like that. Could be that, could be anything in between. His hand is good for the removal it has early. It is bad for not being clear what colors I'm going to need, but I will keep it. Nighthawk would like to predict that that Magic Digital Next will be for Nintendo 3DS XL only. I mean, this is why everyone's entitled to their opinion. Because some people are crazy. But hey, if that actually is what happens, I'll give you all the credit in the world. I honestly will not be surprised at all if Magic Digital Next is only for Steam or only for PC, though. Similar to Magic Online. Omega predicts it's a PS4 exclusive. That would also be stunning. Our opponent with an elf. A 1-mana 2/2. Badass. Here comes the attack. I'm gonna push now. Based on the way that the first main phase went, I don't think they have another creature to play, so I'm not gonna give them the 2 life for no reason. There's plenty of scenarios there where I wouldn't use it until end of turn. Go get blue mana. Opponent stuck on lands. Never the fun thing. Who is our opponent? Starless Bigfoot. So Bigfoot stuck on 2 lands. And now we can go get another white, and I'm just going to do that now rather than wait and forget. Winter Void wants to know how many land I run and how many sweepers. I'm running 26 land in this build, and I'm running 4 sweepers. Let's see, I think I'll just leave this up as the trick. And the trick is when the opponent targets your jace with 3 cards in your graveyard with a removal spell, you loot, you cast Blessed Alliance, you untap jace, and then you loot again, and it flips. So I'm just gonna pass with, quote, the trick open, unquote. Languish, 2 languish, 2 planar outburst. But this version only has 2 counter spells, and those counter spells are confirmed suspicions. So it's not playing some of the traditional stuff. What I'm going to do is, I think I'll just cast that out because I'm not going to stop creatures from resolving, but I need to stop the value from happening. And the planes can go. And let's get that elemental bond. Let's flip this. Come on, let's flip this. Got a little lag. And I'll discard this one. Land for turn. Probably a Gideon turn. Nothing to flash back yet, so let's just tick her on up. Maybe go for the mill plan. Gideon. Usually I would never do this, so not. Let's just prevent damage. I think the emblem is... Has that emblem done anything for anybody? Yeah, we're running baby Gideon since we're a pretty focused planeswalker deck. Plus we have 4 sweepers. We want to force our opponent to play out into the board. Gideon can do that, but he's a little mess of a creature, is Gideon. He is... I have such little faith in baby Gideon. Actually, Kithian has to be baby Gideon, right? This is just teenage Gideon. And the teenagers are always the worst. Omega asks, did the singles Esper deck qualify, or was that just for fun? That was just for fun. Alright, make me a 4/4. Since I don't have a lot of mana uses, bring the beats. We've got some emblem stories in chat. Nighthawk says that emblem screwed up Marionette Master combo once. Oh, that must have been hard. I eventually killed it, and then they play ally, and the salt hit critical. Oh man. Winter Void. I once used emblem to go negative with Anguish and Ob Nixilis, but only that one game. Oh my. And Oniku says, I don't think I've ever lost because of emblem, but it's been super annoying in a few games. Alright. I mean, I honestly have never even been so much as annoyed by it, but hey, I guess things get people sometimes. Here comes a Sky Hunter, a Skirmisher, and now a Liliana. So our opponent, Bigfoot, ramps into a position to double spell and play 2 creatures. Unfortunately for Bigfoot, he's about to see that that was all right, just according to our plan. So up we go, away your creatures go. All the Baldwins are dead? Yep, all of our opponent's creatures have died. Joey says, would it be better to take out something like a grasp for battle at the bridge for the life gain? I do not believe that would be good. And the reason is, 1, we have a good amount of life gain because we have Shambling, Vent, and Blessed Alliance. It's definitely possible to have more life gain than you need. You only need 1 life to win. And the second part of that is sorcery speed and how much mana you have to put into a Battle of the Bridge to make it effective. You're much better off using an instant speed removal spell for a low amount of mana that can get the same job done. Okay. Our opponent will once again discover that we are more than happy to destroy their battlefield. And they will probably be very depressed about it. And we'll activate Gideon here. Beat for another 4. Winter Void says, Gideon +1 is great for things like flagship, and can be a win condition after stabilizing. It's my least favorite planeswalker, but still useful. I think that the Nissa, I think Simic Nissa is just about the least useful planeswalker. But, I mean, that's an opinion. I've had my heart broken by that card. Okay, since we have a lethal attack coming with Shambling Vent and Baby, or Teenage Gideon, we can use a Grasp here on this Druid and then close out the game. Siegecraft, yeah. Denied, but it's... Alright, so we have a lethal attack. We know how to do it. We'll activate Gideon. We'll activate Shambling Vent. We attack for 6. Our opponent's tapped out. There's nothing they can do. We will concede. They can have the gold. We also have a Jace emblem we could get and go into Millstone mode.